Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. This is your English class and I am your subject teacher Miss Fauzia. Today I am going to start with Good Timber. This is a poem and this is from your new syllabus. This poem is written by Douglas Malloch. You can see the picture of a tree over here and we are talking about the timber of the tree. As far as the poet is concerned, Douglas Malloch was an American poet. He was a short story writer and associate editor of American Lumberman, a trade paper in Chicago. He was known as a lumberman's poet, both locally and nationally. He is noted for writing Round River Drive and Be the Best of Whatever You Are, in addition to many other creations. As far as the central idea of the poem is concerned, in the poem, the poet Douglas Malloch stresses upon the need of struggle and strife in one's life. Those who live through adversity and face storms become good timbers and good men. So over here, he had used the metaphor of good timber for human. उसने क्या किया है? Metaphorically, that word timber is used for human being. So what he says over here, in order to be successful in one's life, one should do struggle and strive hard in order to reach to one's destination, and one has to pass through the adversity and one has to face the storms if one wants to become a good timber or a good human. Some people are born with silver spoons in their mouth and they live a life of ease. They only depend upon fortune and never struggle to improve their lives and make valuable differences. Such a man is good for nothing but scrubby thing, because prosperity makes a man more lethargic and lazy. So what does poet says over here? Actually, he says that many people, they are born with silver spoons. You can take your own examples, that you people are born with silver spoons in your mouth. आपको ज़िंदगी में कभी किसी मसले का, किसी प्रॉब्लम का शिकार नहीं हुए हैं. अम्मा बने एक अच्छी बेटर लाइफ आपको प्रोवाइड की हुई है, एक बेटर एजुकेशन, बेटर इंस्टीट्यूशन आपके लिए चूज़ किया गया है. सो वट एवर योर डिमांड्स, दे आर फुलफिल्ड बाय योर पेरेंट्स. सो यू पीपल आर born with silver spoons in your mouth and you have been living a very comfortable and very easy life. So the poet suggests you people that those who depend on fortune and never struggle to improve their lives and make valuable differences, so such a man is good for nothing but scrubby thing, because prosperity makes a man more lethargic and lazy. So this is poet's point of view, and this is quite true, that those who are born with silver spoon in their mouth, they if they had not faced any problem, any challenges in their life, then definitely they would become more lethargic and lazy, and their experience would be less than those who would have faced the challenges of life, had seen the ups and downs of life, or had gone through the storms of life. Well, adversity brings true power of man and makes him more polished. Actually, when there are adverse conditions, then definitely man's inner abilities, they come out and your skills become polished and you become more refined. The poet means to say that what man earns by the sweat of his brow gives him a greater degree of satisfaction and makes him more perfect and seasoned than what he gets by the stroke of फॉर्चून. जो फॉर्चून ने, जो किस्मत ने आपको दिया है, तो उससे ज़्यादा आपको सेटिस्फेक्शन किस चीज़ से मिलेगी? जो आपने अपने पसीने से अर्न किया है. इफ़ यू पीपल हैड गॉन थ्रू द स्ट्रगल, इफ़ यू पीपल हैड फेस द चैलेंजेस एंड द प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड देन यू पीपल हैड कम आउट of those problems successful, then you people will be more satisfied, and definitely you will be more mature than those who would get all these things by the stroke of fortune. This is the main idea. Actually, he metaphorically used good timber for human being, that in order to become a good human, what you people had, what key is required, that life, it is full of ups and downs. When there are problems, when there are challenges, and if the challenges comes on your way, then you have to struggle hard, and then if you prove your worth, then you would be able to be satisfied. And if you people are getting all these blessings as you are fortunate one, then definitely you would become less mature and less polished than those who had gone through the problems. Here are the lines of the poem. I'm going to read these lines for you. The tree that never had to fight for sun and sky and air and light, but stood out in the open plain and always got its share of rain, never became a forest king, but lived and died a scrubby thing. Very important lines, very important message that Douglas Malloch had conveyed to his readers, to his listeners, to his people. What that lesson is: like a tree standing in a plain, getting one's share of rain, getting one's share of sun and light and air. So it is the right of that timber, it is the right of that tree. So he says that if you are getting your share of rain, you are getting enough light and air and sky and sun, then you can never become a forest king. But you would live and die like a scrubby thing. Scrubby means that is low in value. So you will be valueless. You will be like a low tree. You will be a low human being, right? So you can see the paraphrase of stanza 1. What is paraphrase, boys? Paraphrase is that the lines which are set in such a way that you can easily comprehend what is being told in the verse. ठीक है, इसमें एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं होती है, इसमें उन्हीं लाइंस को ऐसे सेट कर दिया जाता है और उन्हीं वर्ड्स को इस तरह से अरेंज कर दिया जाता है कि वो प्रोज बन जाते हैं, एंड यू कैन ईजिली गेट द मीनिंग ऑफ द lines which are written in the verse form. The tree that did not have to struggle for the sun, sky, air, and light, but naturally grew in the open field and got its share of sufficient rain automatically, had no worth at all, because it was not like a strong tree which grows in the forest and has to fight to get a sufficient sunlight and rain. This tree growing in the open field could never become a forest king, but lived and died like a scrubby thing, as it had been at the mercy of the natural happenings. ठीक है, उसने क्या कहा है? उसने कहा है कि जो ट्री जो है वो स्ट्रगल नहीं करता है सनलाइट के लिए, स्काई के लिए, एयर के लिए, लाइट के लिए, और ओपन फील्ड में ग्रो कर रहा है और अपने हिस्से की सफिशिएंट रेन, इनफ रेन ले रहा है, और ऑटोमेटिकली मतलब उसकी वर्थ जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी, क्योंकि वो स्ट्रॉन्ग ट्री नहीं रहेगा उसको, क्योंकि उसको स्ट्रगल नहीं करनी पड़ रही है अपने सर्वाइवल के लिए. ठीक है, तो दोज हु स्ट्रगल फॉर देयर सर्वाइवल दे स्टे स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड दे वुड नॉट बी एट द मर्सी ऑफ द नेचुरल हैपनिंग्स, एंड दे डू नॉट डाई लाइक अ स्क्रबी थिंग्स. Here is the explanation of first stanza. In this stanza, the poet uses a metaphor of trees to compare them to human beings. He says that some trees grew naturally in the natural environment and just keep growing. They never had to fight much and never seen adverse time to compete in order to survive. आप अपने साथ अपनी एग्जाम्पल्स ले लें. आपके साथ बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे होंगे जो बहुत ज़्यादा हार्ड वर्क नहीं करते हैं. दोज हु आर ऑफ द व्यू कि भी हमें जो है जितना हम पढ़ते हैं दैट इज़ मोर देन इनफ, एज दे आर नेचुरली वेरी शार्प एंड वेरी ब्रिलियंट. अब क्या होगा, डेफिनेटली जो नेचुरली ब्रिलियंट एंड शार्प हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा एफर्ट नहीं करेंगे, बिकॉज दे आर द ब्लेस्ड वन, दे आर द फॉर्चुनेट वन. And those who would face the problems, those who had the problems, economical हो सकते हैं, financial हो सकते हैं, आपको educational हो सकते हैं, आपको जैसे बहुत से हमारे students होते हैं जो hard hit areas से होते हैं. So they have to struggle hard. They had to come out of their houses, they had to stay at the hostels. Definitely जब वो वहाँ पे आएंगे, अपने पेरेंट्स से दूर होंगे, अपनी फैमिली से दूर होंगे, they would face the other world, other area as well. So definitely they would become more mature, those who have been living at home and those who are having all the comforts of life and those who are ऑलरेडी हैविंग द ब्रिलियंट माइंड्स. तो क्या होगा, वो अपनी कंफर्ट्स के साथ, अपनी ईज़ के साथ चलना पसंद करेंगे, जबकि जो वो हार्डशिप्स को फेस कर रहे हैं तो उनमें स्ट्रगलिंग एलिमेंट इट वुड एनहांस्ड. और फिर जब वो इन्हांस होगा, डेफिनेटली दैट वुड बी सीन इन द स्टडीज एज वेल. Okay, they never had to fight much or never seen adverse time in order to compete to survive. They wielded what was available for them in the open fields and never had to struggle for sun, sky, air, light, and rain. Never proved their worth by struggling hard to make their way in life. The poet means to say that there are some people who just live at the mercy of situation and never work hard to improve their condition. They never wanted to face the tides of times, but a smooth sailing only. They could never prove their worth by facing the challenges of life and competing them boldly. Such a man is good for nothing but a scrubby thing, because prosperity makes a man more lethargic and lazy, while adversity brings true power of man and makes him more polished. Are you getting my point? कि आप जब प्रॉब्लम्स को फेस करेंगे, देन यू पीपल वुड बिकम मोर मेच्योर टू हैंडल द प्रॉब्लम्स. ठीक है, आपकी नर्व्स, आपकी जो पर्सनैलिटी है उसमें ग्रूमिंग आएगी, and you would be able to handle the situations in a more mature way than those who had not seen such adverse conditions. The man who never had to toil to gain and farm his patch of soil, who never had to win his share of sun, sky, and light and air, never became a manly man, but lived and died as he began. So life is the name of struggle actually. If you don't strive, if you don't struggle, then you are not a manly man. And you people had lived a life and died as an anonymous type of a person. In this stanza, the poet talks about the man who had never toiled and struggled in order to get his place in life and to develop it more. बहुत से लोग होते हैं, आप में से बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे होते हैं जो ये समझते हैं कि भी ठीक है, हमने जितनी स्ट्रगल करनी थी, वी हैड डन आवर पार्ट ऑफ जॉब, और अब जो भी है देखा जाएगा. सो एज वी डोंट कम आउट ऑफ आवर कंफर्ट जोन, हम अपने शेल्स में से बाहर नहीं निकलते हैं. हम वी फील कंफर्टेबल इन आवर ओन शेल्स, इन आवर ओन कॉर्नर. सो जब हम अपने उस शेल में, उस कॉर्नर में, उस निच में कंफर्टेबल हो जाते हैं, तो फिर हम क्या करते हैं, हम वी डोंट स्ट्रगल, वी डोंट ट्रायल. ठीक है, टू ब्रिंग इम्प्रूवमेंट इन आवर लाइफ. ही इज़ एन आइडल मैन who lives a life of ignominy and discredit. He has lived a similar life from birth to death. He might have his share of things by fortune and is happy with it. The poet means to say that what man earns by the sweat of his brow gives him a greater degree of satisfaction and makes him more perfect and seasoned than what he gets by the stroke of fortune. Such an idle man can never develop a manly character, because a real man is strong as he has gone through many hardships in life and he has competed them bravely. राइट देखो, अब वो क्या कह रहे कि एक जो रियल मैन है, जिसमें मैनली पार्ट्स उसी में होंगी जिसने बोल्डली सिचुएशंस को फेस किया होगा, हैंडल किया होगा, पास थ्रू किया होगा. If you people had not gone through the difficult situations, if you people had not seen the hardships in your life, and definitely you had not competed with them, and definitely you become a very idle and very weak person. So as an idle man, but an idle man has left himself to fortune's elms. For such a man, life and death is all the same. He comes in this world and leaves, and his presence can never be felt by the people, because he is good for nothing. तो ऐसा बंदा जो है वो he is good for nothing, जो सिर्फ दुनिया में आया, never faced the problems, never had worked hard, never had struggled for the better life, और उसका आना और उसका जाना is definitely not felt by the people. So he is good for nothing. This one is a paraphrase of stanza 2. You can see and you can read it by yourself. Then third stanza, good timber does not grow with ease. The stronger wind, the stronger trees, the further sky, the greater length, the more the storm, the more the strength. By sun and cold, by rain and snow, in trees and men, good timbers grow. So if we go for the paraphrase of stanza 3, what he wanted to say, a good timber does not grow easily, for it has to face stronger wind to make it strong. It has to undergo the intensity of different weathers like storms, sun, cold, rain in succession But the more the storm, the more it strengthens. Good timbers and good men always grow and develop more by facing sun, cold, rain, and snow. So over here you can see the picture of a tree that definitely when standing in the plain had to pass through or had to see the storms, the sun, the cold and rain in succession. Definitely these are the problems through which it had to pass through. If it would survive, then definitely it would stay. And he compared this timber with that of a man. If a man had gone through all the problems of life successfully, then definitely he would be able to live a happy life. If we go for the explanation, in this stanza, the poet describes the qualities of good timber. He says that good and strong timber is the one which does not grow with ease. It has faced the adverse time like stronger wind, which has made it more stronger. The extended sky, with all its elements of cloud, sun, wind, has made timber more hard and time tested. ठीक है, जिस तरह से टिम्बर जो है वो एक ओपन उसमें खड़ा है, स्टॉर्म्स को फेस करेगा, जितना वो स्टॉर्म्स को फेस करेगा उतना ही वो स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा. इसी तरह से स्काई बहुत एक्सटेंडेड है, उसमें बहुत से एलिमेंट्स हैं जैसे क्लाउड है, सन है, रेन है, विंड है. विद ऑल दीज स्टॉर्म्स, इफ़ इट वुड बी एबल to stay in the face of all these storms, definitely it had gone through the hard time and had been tested, so would be more stronger than anything else. The good quality timber must have gone through the uncertain amount of scorching sun and bitter cold like rain and snow, which the scrubby tree has never experienced. Then the poet compares good timber to a good man whose life has not been a smooth sailing but has many ups and downs which he has faced boldly and had gone through all these things. It has made him a man in the real sense of the term. He is the person who has manly qualities in him. He has achieved greatness